Jason, we appreciate the contribution. Thank you so much for that. Looking forward to seeing USC Michigan at the Big House and at the Coliseum. I got to tell you, Matt, just to extend on what Jason's talking about right here, it was going through my mind even before the super chat came in, thinking, okay, at what point did we get the news? It was July of 22, I believe, USC UCLA to the Big Ten, and it's going to finally hit the field in September of 24. So about 26 months that we would have to wait. And just if you're a college football, not just fan, but you appreciate the history and you've lived this out for generations in regards to the Rose Bowl and just the brands from the Midwest clashing with USC and UCLA, it's just to see the likes of Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan at the Rose Bowl and at the LA Coliseum and vice versa is just phenomenal.
It sure is. And especially when USC goes on the road, right? Because, you know, and this is kind of like an SEC dynamic in terms of, you know, in the bowl games, it's always the Big Ten team that's going to the SEC lair, the SEC venue, whether it's the Superdome for the Sugar Bowl or down to Miami for the Orange Bowl. It's always the Big Ten team that's
all
going
the
on
Florida
the road.
Games, you know, the Gator Bowl, the Outback Bowl, the Citrus Bowl, they're all in Florida.
And so it's similar for the Rose Bowl. It's always the Midwestern team that goes out to the West. Now, of course, you know, you want that sun. You want to be able to enjoy 70 degrees on January 1st. So like the Midwestern fans, like they don't mind leaving their cold, bleak gray home for that January 1 trip. But nevertheless, you have the reality of it's the Big Ten that's always playing on the road in these big main event games. And so when USC goes to Ann Arbor, goes to Columbus, goes to Happy Valley, there's going to be at a certain, finally you're coming to our house dynamic in all of this. And that's what's going to make it really special, that the Big Ten school finally says, okay, now you're in our backyard. Let's see how you like it now. And of course, if USC is able to win those road games, like that's going to carry extra weight. Like one of the really special, formative, and resonant wins in the early Pete Carroll era was the win at Auburn in 2003. You know, USC going to an SEC ball yard, Jordan Hare Stadium, and putting that smackdown like that. In many ways, like, you could say it was the Orange Bowl over Iowa. You could say that, but you know, what do we say about the SEC? It just means more. It just meant more for USC to go down to Auburn early in that 2003 season and absolutely hammer the Tigers, and that really seemed to cement the USC ascendancy under Pete Carroll. So when USC goes to these Big Ten stadiums, there's going to be a sense of, aha, we're not going out to LA. We're not going out to the Rose Bowl or the Coliseum. You're finally here. Let's see what you got. That's going to be a delicious subtext, you know, as though USC playing Michigan, like that's enough on its own merits, but that's an important subtext, what I've just laid out over the past few minutes. The Big Ten team finally gets to host USC in the Midwest. That, you know, there's going to be a sense of, you know, evening out the scales a little bit.
Connor Johnson, we always appreciate Connor. He's our Oregon State guy. I don't know what he's disagreeing with. I don't know that. Can you disagree with me being excited? I'm excited for those matchups, Connor. You really can't disagree with that. That's not an opinion or a perspective that I'm taking. I'm excited. I don't know how you can disagree with that. Let them play in the Rose Bowl or non-conference. This is destroying regionality. Of course, Connor's taking it from the standpoint that we are breaking the fabric and tearing the fabric of college football. And we've discussed that at all our venues here at the Voice of College Football, but specifically with Matt a number of times. And I'm right there with you, Connor. I would love if we could turn back time, to quote Cher. We will turn back time and that the Pac-12 is the Pac-12 and the Big Ten is the Big Ten, to whatever degree you want to turn back the clock, whether that's, you know, 10 years or 20 years or 30 years. If you want to maybe make Penn State, Louisville, Florida State, and the like all independents to whatever degree, I agree. I don't like the national focus that this is taking. But in terms of just talking about exciting matchups, yes, that gets me juiced up. Even down the scale, even to see Minnesota play UCLA, I will be all in on that game. I'll be interested.
Yeah, it's going to be fresh and just all the cross matchups, as you said, that you're going to be able to get, like Oregon Penn State, like that's a pretty good game. I mean, like, it doesn't have the classic sex appeal, for a college football purist of USC Ohio State, but like Oregon Penn State in Happy Valley, like, whoa, like that's so I mean, imagine if you did have that. So with all that's going on in terms of these conversations, and like, we don't have a Pac-12 media rights deal yet. Like, we're waiting to see when that shoe drops. Boy, like the Big 12, Pac-12 infighting. Like, are you ready for that to end? I'm ready for that to end.
Yes.
So just being able to have a really good ball game, between USC and Michigan, USC, Ohio State, UCLA, going to all these Big Ten stadiums. It's not everything has to be a meta level commentary on the state of the game or the soul of the sport. We can just look at UCLA, going to Happy Valley, or UCLA, playing another game in Michigan State. Like, we can talk about the 1966 Rose Bowl, and one of the great upsets in Rose Bowl and college football history, UCLA knocking off Duffy Daugherty's great Michigan State team. Like, we can just enjoy that moment without making every USC or UCLA game a referendum on everything. Like, there is the critique, Connor Johnson. Like, there's the reality that the regional charm of college football is being destroyed. Like, we can have that, but like, we can still enjoy a ball game, between two very interesting teams, in a ball game that we don't usually haven't usually gotten over the years, and in a place where we haven't usually gotten it. So I think it's just important, Connor, to separate the two. Like, Mark taking enjoyment in having a new matchup, is not tantamount to looking past or ignoring the ways in which this hurts college football. I think that's the salient point to make there.
And that frames it, in terms of my perspective on it. Matt has framed it up perfectly, because I'm on record. I don't know that anybody's more on record, just because of how much I'm on record doing records and live streams of talking about how I don't like the shift in college football and the tearing apart of the fabric of the regionality. But yes, those matchups excite me. I like them.